Hello everyone, Cantor King here with a few words about this week's Parsha leading into Shabbat. This week's Parsha is called Chayei Sara, which is a little ironic. It's the life of Sara. It's ironic because at the very beginning, Sara dies. Sara passes away, Abraham's wife. And at the end of this week's Parsha, Abraham also passes away. And there's something very interesting about what they say about Abraham when he dies. It says that Abraham died old and contented. Why would the Torah say that about Abraham, that he was old and contented? And why was Abraham contented? After all, he had a lot of things go wrong with him during his life. He did not have an easy life being God's servant and trying to convince people to follow in God's path. He went through a lot of troubles. So why was he contented at the end of his life? I think it's teaching us an important lesson, which can be explained by a quote in the Mishnah, the part of the Mishnah that we call Pirkei Avot. One of my favorite quotations, something that my father used to say all the time, although he was no Talmud Chacham. And the saying goes like this: Ezahu ashir hasameach bechelko. Who is happy? The one who rejoices with what he has. And I think that's the lesson that the Torah is trying to teach us with the death of Abraham. Abraham went through a lot of tsuras during his life. He had a lot of problems. He had to fight. He went to Sodom and had to try to save the city. He worked constantly in order to build up God's presence and God's importance in the world to other people, to make people recognize that God was the true God. And he sacrificed a lot for that. And yet at the end of his life, he was contented. Why? Because he had succeeded in his mission to a certain point. Did Abraham get everything that he wanted? No. I'm sure he had dreams and ambitions and hopes that exceeded anything that he got eventually. But in the end, he realized that the life that he had was the life that he had created for himself and the life that he had earned. And for all of us, I think that's a lesson, that we need to be contented with what we have. Sure, we all have things that we want. We all have desires. We all have dreams about things that we could have. But the greatest thing in life is to create a life for yourself that you can be happy with, that you can be contented with, and that we can all be satisfied with. And I think that's the lesson that we're trying to be taught in this week's Parsha with Abraham. So as we go into Shabbat, let's think about the things that we're thankful for. It's always easy to think about the things that we don't have. We all have things that we want. But if we think about the things that we do have and the things that we have to rejoice in, then I think this Shabbat will be happy for us, and we can look and see that our lives are better than maybe we thought they were. Shabbat Shalom.